really? That's fascinating. Oh, hey, and welcome back to Time Travel Comics. Don't mind me, I'm just catching up with a headline from 1966, that is. And they were fascinating. A lot of great history and pop culture came from this time. That's when the U.S. population was 195 million people. The average cost of a home was $21,400. That's a great mortgage, but in this day and age. And we could all relate to those high gas prices. Imagine a time when a gallon of gas cost 31 cents back in 1966. Wow, where did we go wrong? Just the list goes on in that era, including items in pop culture. The famous Batman television show starring Adam West debuted in 1966. The popular TV Star Trek with Captain Kirk also debuted in September of that year. Pretty amazing, the best film to receive an Oscar was The Sound of Music with Julie Andrews. Who can forget that? Wonderful. The popular TV show on NBC, the most popular, was Bonanza. How about that? I remember my aunt watching. Don't interrupt me, I'm watching Bonanza. That's pretty cool. The top song to listen to and bob your head or smooch with a date was I'm a Believer by the Monkees. Also, it's an era where they had go-go boots and these cool hairstyles. Can you dig that? Wow, 1966. That was at the height of the Vietnam War. 500,000 troops were also sent overseas, and it was also the beginning of a lot of protests here. One can only imagine 1966. As I read this, I can't help but notice the advertisements. Let's take a look at some ads, shall we? How about the one we all know and love, Kraft cheese? Still looks appetizing then as it does now. And they're even sold in different varieties in plastic bags. I didn't realize the varieties they had in the day there. And the plastic bags look just like we have in the grocery stores today. And check out this Campbell Soup Bag. She looks happy, just as happy as I was when Mom made chicken noodle soup. Yeah, the slogan was still back in the day, how about a can of vegetables from none other than the Green Giant. There he is, and there's the can right there. Oh, many a times we would have Green Giant for dinner. Kind of looks like the Hulk. The Hulk, huh? Kind of reminds me of comic books. And that's what our show is all about. I wonder what the comic books looked like back in 1966. Who's up for that? I am. Let me see if I have coins or time tokens from that time. Let me see. From 1989? No. 2004? No, that's too current. Here we go. Got it right in my hand. 1966. And, oh, here they are. Oh, we have a lot of great books to go through from this time. So have a seat and let's look through them. It looks like we have some time ticking away on our time machine, so we're going to get right to it. I'm really excited for this particular episode as I'm going to show you a series of books primarily from August of 1966. And it's going to be a sampling of Marvel, DC, and other publications, and other ones from different months. But if you have a favorite book that you know from that particular year, be sure to comment below. And it's all the more fun for me to look and see if I can research and find out about it. But I'm going to start out with my favorite comic book, easily in my top 5, this particular issue of Submariner Hulk and Tales to Astonish from August of 1966. And we're greeted by a powerful fight, including a guest appearance from Iron Man, my favorite hero, in this book. And the art is by Gene Colan, phenomenal artist, who did a lot for Daredevil, Iron Man, and Tales to Astonish, and the list goes on really. And just look at this cover. Just love it. We know we're in the Silver Age when we move from the 10-cent cover to the 12-cent cover. And a little fun fact as we enjoy the splash page of this book, as we see the credits here, obviously Stan Lee and the gallant Gene Colan. But in a couple pages into the book, Jack Kirby is called in to finish the story, which I think is amazing because there are two artists. One leaves off, this is Gene Colan's work, on the left-hand side, and then immediately goes into Jack Kirby and that Kirby-esque look that we see here, and how he shows the arm throwing back, the fight scene, and the Submariner. So it's so interesting how co-workers helped each other out, as Gene caught the flu bug drawing the first two pages, and then it's finished by Jack Kirby, who drew the last 10 pages and then asked who the Submariner was. That's a funny gag, really cute. And you could see that polished styling, that nice contrast that Gene Colan was known for, and just those perspective angles. And then we get into our traditional Kirby. And the swinging, the action, the machinery all broken up is just a wonder and a sight to behold. And I just love it. I like seeing Jack Kirby's work. I like seeing Gene Colan. And you could just see the fist throwing. And this is reminiscent of some Tales of Suspense covers where there's Captain America fighting Iron Man. It almost shows that same contortion and same twist and exchanging of blows, just in that Jack Kirby fashion. So I wanted to start with this book, August 1966, and it's easily my top 5 favorite comic book. And as we move on, let's talk about Tales of Suspense, actually. And we have a key issue here featuring the Red Skull and Captain America and the Cosmic Cube. This was even made more popular by comic book collector fans in the debut of Captain America's movie. And it's also Jack Kirby and Gene Colan. It's artwork. As we open the pages up, there you have it, another splash page by Gene Colan, the Prince of Penciling. Love how they have Stan Lee decided to script the artist and letters, and everybody that contributed really had a nice introduction to the book. Gene Colan here again in the second page, and you could see the dark inking here, the contours really makes the artwork pop out. I mean, it just looks so 3D and realistic as I wave the book at you. But you could see here the struggle. You could know the might and power of the Submariner as Iron Man and Tony Stark quickly has to tinker and figure stuff out because the sheer might of Namor is going to come through that door. Thoom, thoom. And that's where brain versus brawn. And the brain of Iron Man always is well equipped to handle whatever brawn comes his way. So just wanted to show you this. Here we get some Jack Kirby, Captain America. It looks like one of the AIM characters, the Advanced Idea Mechanics, in their typical garb and clothing on the ground. So he who holds the Cosmic Cube, this is based on the title of this book. Just great Jack Kirby, great Gene Colan, right in this book. And these two issues, August of 1966. And now to introduce one of the most iconic covers, one of the most famous ones, and also the first John Romita cover for The Amazing Spider-Man. All you collectors know this one very well. And we could see the Green Goblin in full form, the revealing of Spider-Man and Peter Parker in this book there. So this came after Steve Ditko left the title for Amazing Spider-Man. And we have Norman Osborn in this feature here. And there he is, Jazzy Johnny Romita, R.D. Semek with the lettering. He was always lettering all the book. And this was the height of Marvel, in my opinion. All the action going on, and just looking at the fight scenes, the rooftops, the city vantages. Part of what draws me to Spider-Man is all the cityscapes and the relatability of the city where he fights in. There we have Peter Parker, our hero, always trying to figure out what to do while making a quick stop at the grocery store so he doesn't disappoint his Aunt May. Being a student, fighting crime, talk about responsibility. Comes great power, comes great responsibility. And there's Aunt May whirring. So this is a pretty beat up copy, some chew marks here. And I was lucky to pick this up for about $30 a couple years ago, because right now trying to own this copy has become quite a quest as the prices are skyrocketing. 1966 beauty. Let's give a little bit of love to DC Comics. And I want to show you this issue. And in this year, and in 1966 and 67, we are introduced to the go-go check or the racer stripe in these series of DC books. This is Detective Comics, issue number 354, and it features Batman and the Human Fist. So he's surrounded by a lot of people, and I love the silhouette in the shadow as it is his Batman symbol right there. So a lot of props and points to the artist that created this, Joe Giella, created this cover, and the interior artwork is Carmen Infantino. And as you saw from my last video, Carmen Infantino also did a lot with Strange Adventures and other books, and also Bob Kane. And we see the name here, Bob Kane. But of interesting note, it's not the actual original Bob Kane, but a ghost artist. And what that is an artist that drew in a style that took over for him. And in the splash page, we could see his name. It's actually Sheldon Moldoff. And Sheldon Moldoff, oftentimes in the Silver Age, used Bob Kane's name, but completed the work. So a fun story. This is the introduction of Dr. Zinzin, first appearance. And being that it was the Vietnam era and the United States was stationed in Vietnam, there's a lot of adversary that is fashioned after the Oriental look and style of that time. So that's kind of a way to introduce some type of relatable adversary, but it is interesting to note that you have Batman and Robin listening in on their enemy before it self-destructs the module. Some good fight scenes here, arrows to direct where to read the comic, and it's just great to see Bob Kane, ergo aka Sheldon Moldoff's work here. I love the little circles, just kind of draws you in, and then you're back into the action. Little Batmobile debuting there, and just wonderful. Just wanted to show you that. So it's the go-go check was introduced and was a way to help draw marketing and for young kids to pick them up off the shelves as it related to pop culture. Carmen Infantino, when he was asked what he thought about it, he thought it was a pretty dumb idea in his words, and thought it wouldn't really sell a lot of books and it wouldn't make a difference. But the sales did boost. And we'll talk about some sales in a little bit as I rest this book on and we check out another book. And that is Batman in his purest form, in his own title. And this is kind of a parody and play on the Adam West introduction of the TV show that came out in 1966. So again, August, this is issue 183 in 1966. And we got Poison Ivy. We have a lot of action, and we have Bob Kane again. And I like that, a touch of Poison Ivy. It's just very fitting, very fun. Look at the books. I love how they do the backdrop, the banquets, and the jazz band in the background. Look at the dress and the style, the hair. Every time I show books to my wife, she's always fascinated how the blue is in men's hair or darker hair, the blue, and then blonde is more dark. And I have to explain sometimes, well, that's how they wanted to accentuate and show the differences in the hair color. Says, oh, but Wonder Woman has blue hair. So it's just, it's kind of cute to try to explain that. And look at that, a smooch scene with Poison Ivy amid all the action going around. And wow, look at this page right here. Just, you could cut this out and frame it alone. Not that you would ever damage your comic book, but another great cover right in here. So you can see just how Batman's influence was. Oh, we can see even in the TV shows, the sock, the boom, the pow. And Adam West was noted for doing that. And this book captures it right here. Not tonight, kid. I'm staying in the back cave to watch myself on television. Wow. So looking at this cover here, we could find it in this book, which I'll introduce the cover, is this is from the notes of Erwin Donenfeld, who kept track of marketing and sales. And the number on the right indicates the number sold, and the number on the left is the print run. So 1.4 million, because this is in thousand, 1.4 million was produced for the run, and it sold 1.1 and some change million, so about 78%. So if we look at the year before, these numbers were in the 40s, 46, 53%, 56%. But with the debut of the Batman show, we saw a big jump into the 80s and 90s of cover sales, because 5%. So since introducing the TV show, the sales of the book, including the one we just saw, were off the shelves. And this book was given to me as a gift a long time ago, the Silver Age of DC Comics. It was actually sold at Costco as part of a bargain bin. But if you ever get a hold of this book, it's just a lot of great history. Just a side note, because we were talking about that book and the influence of the TV show boosting the popularity of the comic book. And let's bring Wonder Woman. I know we have Spider-Man and Batman, but Wonder Woman stands alone in a truly wonderful cover. And again, we still have the racer stripe on the top. And this is also from August of 1966. So all the books we see here are from the same month and the same year. And this cover here is by a favorite artist of mine, Ross Andru and Mike Esposito, who did the inking. And they always work pretty much hand in hand. And this is with the Battle of the Frogmen, underwater scene right there, as our heroine, Wonder Woman, is trying to find and search for Steve Trevor, the love of her life, and going through hordes of enemies in between. So because he went missing, Steve Trevor is missing in action. She's kind of finding herself marrying General Darnell, but she has some regrets. But that quickly changes as she finds it in her heart to stop and kind of look and search for her long-lost love in this adventure here. So we greeted by flying, the lasso of truth. United States Air Force looks like a flying saucer-like aircraft. And just that vintage golden age style of Wonder Woman is still appearing in the Silver Age right here. So interesting, very fun to note. I do want to show you this page in the middle because it's a lot of fun, and it also relates to the cover right there. Look at that. I can do this all day, but I won't. Hope everybody's hanging on and doing well as we have another August 1966 book with Superman and Kurt Swan and George Klein cover. We got the main splash page here. Krypton lives again. And this time Superman travels back to Krypton, but in some way contaminates and affects the life on the planet again. But look at this cartoony artwork. It's really pretty whimsical and almost like an animation. And it's by Wayne Boring. He did the pencils, and nothing boring about that because of the colors and the styling. Kind of like Adam Strange and the characters, how they're always transported in space. It has that feel to it. Look at the ramparts and the bombs over here, those patterns. Just a lot of fun, a lot of action. It's kind of confusing, honestly. I have to give this another read. But Kurt Swan followed the work of Wayne Boring after he left DC in the 1950s. And on occasion, even in 1966, Kurt Swan would revisit this title and would do some work for the Superman series. So all the books we see here are from August and the month of August, but let's jump to October, November to another Racer Stripe 80-page giant. These are always a lot of fun and a great value when picking them up. And just great Batman action here. We're introduced to the Batmobile once again, an older variation of it. And you can see some punches, some Golden Age reproductions. As you can see, the artwork is a little different from the Silver Age that we saw moments ago. But nonetheless, it is Batman. This is more Silver Age, and this is more Golden Age with some of the styles. Bob Kane, Wayne Boring at the helm there. So just wanted to show you that. Lionel Trains, that's a lot of fun. And I grew up with the Santa Fe Lionel. It was exciting. We only took it out during Christmas time because it took up a lot of space, and they had a huge transformer to operate the train, and truly wonderful. I hope that young adults and kids today can appreciate the Lionel Trains as I did. Kind of happy that I had that opportunity. Look at that in this giant Batman book. Some more great artwork. So just wanted to show you the cover of this one as 5 stories complete right in here. So we'll add it to our 1966 pile right there. Real quick, Strange Adventures, a famous, my favorite rather, line, just showing a book from February of 1966 here. That's where Murphy Anderson shined, and a lot of great artists. This includes Star Hawkins and Ilda, his robot secretary. Kind of fun, interesting stories. I have to reread them, honestly, because sometimes I didn't get the premise of how Ilda was helping. But again, Strange Adventures, and how they had a collection of stories. But look at this. This is very fitting because we saw a lot of titles. Definitely coming, the brand new look, Go-Go Checks from DC. It was short-lived, 1966, 1967 at best. Donenfeld, who did the marketing that we just saw the statistics, thought of this idea, and Carmen Infantino and others are like, I don't know about it, but that was that was the style that we saw all the way around. Yeah, how about we clear the board like that? That looks a lot better. Now that we've removed some of the DC and Marvel books, let's talk about some other titles as we go. And it's also both from August of 1966. And we're greeted by Tower Comics right there, Wally Wood Venture, and a comic book company that didn't stick around too long. But nonetheless, gave a lot of historical great works that were left behind. So, Gil Kane cover on the left, and Wally Wood on the right. And the colors are so inviting, they're so bright, the action. And these two different books were more of different superheroes that work together collectively, the Thunder Agent and then the Undersea Agents. And both names were very long acronyms that are right here and are right there. And it was at a time during James Bond movies and a lot of the spy thrillers where there was a lot of acronyms standing for fancy secret organization and government agencies. So I did feature this book in my underwater comic episode and just talked a little bit more at length about the artwork here. But it's just a fun there and there series that was short lived. And then the Thunder Agent's right there. Dynamo in his belt that gives him power, the Iron Maiden. Eventually, DC picked up the rights to the property, and we see Dynamo alive once again in the early 2000s when they revamped the series. But just great, just a lot of fun. Look at the colors. Oh my gosh, the colors, just wonderful, fun. If these books had a little bit more love, they would have been popular today. I feel like Wally Wood didn't get a full shot of a full chance at his work. But in August, this is what was on the newsstand back in '66. Yeah, let's get out of August, shall we? And right here, we're in October. Iconic cover here. Some great key issues came out of this year, and I featured this in my second video with Joe Sinnott, or third rather, and this is the fourth appearance of the Silver Surfer, as encountered by the Fantastic Four, and just some great artwork there. A beat-up copy, of course, and but it just has the greats of Jack Kirby, Joe Sinnott, and Stan Lee's creation, and just a wonderful time. And the Silver Age in the '60s just introduced the characters that are so popular in the theaters today as Stan Lee had imagined them because of the modern times and cinematography and the technology of CGI. Stan Lee always wanted his heroes to be on the big screen and loved by many. And this was the beginnings and the origins of it all. And it was fun to note that Stan Lee was able to have cameos in his movies and see firsthand the fruit of his work that he worked so hard to create. Iconic issue from the same year. And the fourth issue of Marvel Tales was already in full swing in 1966, and they were showing some reprints and retelling of the stories of in the September issue. This came out every other month. Actually, I want to say it might have even been quarterly. But this is issue number 4 in the year, so these were not monthly books, and they were a little thicker. You have that nice square bound. It's always nice to see a good square bound. Anybody else get really excited by square bounds? I do. But just seeing more affordable copies of Spider-Man, Thor, and some of the older books packed into Marvel's mightiest masterpieces, Marvel Tale. I want to end with December, it's only fitting, December of 1966, with this Doctor Strange, Strange Tales book. And a lot of action going here, but what's interesting to note, this is a key issue in that it's the first cover of Steranko, Jim Steranko, who did a lot of phenomenal artwork, really was a part of the pop art scene and styling his artwork after spy thrillers and different scenes and perspective. And he worked with Jack Kirby in creating this cover. So I just wanted to end with this one from 1966 in December. And the splash page is so beautiful, illustrated by the jaunty Jim Steranko and the jolly Jack Kirby. And look at the machinery on his back, that looks really heavy. And all the action there. So in Kirby-esque fashion, kind of ushering in Jim Steranko, had a prolific career with Marvel and other publishers as well, including Batman. We can see his work. Ooh, Saturday cartoons. Give me more, yes. 1966, Saturday cartoons, that's a win. And we can see here some more artwork. So Steve Ditko used to do a lot of Doctor Strange, but this one was by Bill Everett, who also worked on Namor and The Submariner and others. So just wanted to show you this cover before we close up on a wonderful year. And our time is up. Thank you for watching and joining me as we explored the year 1966 in comic. Which one was your favorite book? Thanks again, and be well.